been out and that's my first lot. I've just gone out and got myself a whole another box full. As you can see, I've just got heaps, lots. So now I've got to go through the process of stringing it all up to dry. You can see there's quite a bit that's dried naturally on the plant, but an awful lot of it that hasn't. So I'll get to and string it all up. Okay, so I've now just gone through and sorted it all out. Got a box of scrappy bits and pieces here. This is pre-dried on the plant and just little scrap bits and pieces which I'll just chuck all on the net and just dry out. Over here we have two separate piles, ready basically for me to string it all up, so it can dry out, strung up. As you can see, it's both quite large piles. It's going to take me a wee while to string all that up. Good money saving though. And over here I have put aside 3 of my largest leaves that I came across. Just to give you an idea of how big these actually are. As you can see, they are quite large leaves. You can pin my pussycat against one of them. My pussycat's just about as big as what the leaf is. I'll put my foot up against there, and I'm picking that's what, pretty close to 2 feet long. And about 1.5 foot wide. Quite large. So there we go. So I'll now get to and start stringing it all up. Okay, so now I'm about to actually make a batch of tobacco. Here's some leaves that I prepared earlier. They've been hanging and drying for a couple of weeks now, I suppose. And so they're all fairly well dried. Some of them you can see are still a little green because they were a little bit immature when I picked them and hung them up. But a lot of that green colour will still eventually come out of it. If I come around the side where it's not so, well, that green colour will eventually come out of it. You can see some of them are still quite brown, and so the green will hopefully come out of it once I have soaked it in the alcohol solution and given it a bit of a kiln dry in the oven. And here I've got a pot full of it as well, that I've just carved up and put in there. So we dry it while it's still in a whole state. I generally cut the leaves in half because they are quite large sized leaves. As you can see, that's a reasonable sized pot. It's about a 10 litre pot that I put it in. And from there I'm going to put them in the oven and just let them dry slowly in the oven, just to cure them off completely. Some of them are still quite pliable. As you can see, they're not fully crumbling to pieces. See, they're still, and these have been hanging up drying for about at least 3 weeks, I guess. But you can see that there's still quite a bit of. So I dry them in the oven and then they go absolutely bone dry. once they're absolutely bone dry, then they go quite crispy, and much like this, that one, much like what this one here is, you know, quite crispy like that is what we want. And then we tend to find that it absorbs the alcohol a lot better for when you go to flavour it. So at the moment there's about 21 leaves in there. I've been averaging roughly about 80 to 90 grams per 10 to 12 leaves. So I've got like 21 leaves in there, and I've got another 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 or so there. So I'm probably going to have about 30 odd leaves this time round. So I'll be picking, I'm probably going to get between 250 to 300 grams out of this lot probably. So I'll go ahead and I'll carve the rest of that up, cut it up, try and squeeze it all into this pot as best as I can. I'm running out of room in there a bit, but I'll try and compress it down and dry it all out, and then I'll show you the next step as far as how I go about flavouring it and so on. Okay, so I've now cut up my tobacco, and as you can see I've chopped it into leaves that are about 1/3 to half the size. I leave them in a fairly full state at this stage, and I'll explain that a little bit later as to why I do that. I certainly don't carve it up at this stage. It all stays as a large size form for the next process basically, which is it's a lot easier to deal with it in this stage rather than trying to carve it all up and slicing it all up, and keep it at this stage here until such time as it has been flavoured. So I'm going to try and fit all of that in that pot now, which is probably going to be somewhat of an exercise. Before I do that, I'm going to go and preheat my oven. Preheat my oven between 50 to 70 degrees on a fan force. And that keeps the air circulating through it and just helps everything dry out a lot quicker or faster. And you want to make sure that you do the drying process. That just gets rid of any moisture that's left in the leaf, because you don't want any moisture left in the leaf. And of course, once again, when it is bone dry, it actually soaks up and absorbs the alcohol a lot better than what it does if it's not completely bone dry, obviously. So we'll now fit that lot there into that pot there, and then we'll go and put it in the oven and give it a dry for probably about half an hour or so, because this here is still quite, it's not crispy, you know. As you can see, I can give it a squeeze, so we want that fairly crispy dry to absorb all that moisture up.